Hey guys, so you have a door jam problem with the Samsung? What is it? The Samsung Express C1810W. That's Charlie 1810W. It's kind of hard to see there. I've had this thing for years, so that little problem is coming from. Well, there's some of the melted plastic I left behind, but it's coming from that little tab right there. So all you really need to do is take a cigarette lighter and catch the end of one of these on fire for a few seconds and just let it dribble onto the end of that. So you're basically adding a plastic weld to the end of that tab so that it can get into that hole right there and press that switch just a little better because you can't move the switch. You could add glue to the switch if you wanted to, but I wouldn't risk doing that. Um, there's obviously a few other options. You could use glue or whatever, but that's the fastest, easiest, cheapest, and simplest method. It's not gonna break. It's not gonna go anywhere, and you're just gonna blow out the flame once it melts a little bit from that fire, and you'll never have the problem again with that switch. Another problem is, and this is common, people jam these things up. They jam quite often if you have the slick paper. So the slick paper jamming is obviously a serious issue. Uh, a lot of people don't like using the crummy papers. So first of all, if you have any paper that's slightly crumbled, just don't put it in the tray. Make sure you're always using some good clean paper. I've had paper in a dresser drawer for like years, and some of it got a little bit wrinkled, and I think that's where the paper jam problem arose. Uh, the the paper jam, once it does happen, you're probably never going to unjam it without taking things apart. When you do take things apart, you're going to find that thing can get jammed in there extremely hard, so you're not going to remove it easily. What I would suggest is not doing what I did and kind of damaging the edges of the rollers. So what I would do if I did this again was I would take the whole unit out where it actually jams in the final point where it heats up the whole. It's like the most expensive part of the unit. I can't remember the name of the thing, but whatever. You want to take that unit out, unplug it completely from the circuit board, and let the paper soak in water for a few hours. And that way you'll have paper that's so dissolved, it's not going to be jamming the thing up anymore, and you can pull it out. And then obviously you're going to want to dry out that unit for the next 24 hours. You can use a hair dryer, but don't get it too close because even though the thing is made for heat, you can still catch it on fire. So keep an eye on it, whatever you do, and be safe. You don't want to soak the electronic part of it in water. You could damage that. So just soak what you need to in water. And if you don't feel safe in doing that, which is something I have not done, but I've done it with other printers, is you can simply get the paper wet with the spray bottle. And in either case, you want to make sure you're not going to risk damaging the electronics in the rest of the system when you do that. So, all for now. Good luck.